I need to tell you, I'm very, very happy to be moderating tonight. I'm very, very happy to be working with Jeff Apodaca. I'm very happy to endorse him, and I'd like to give the mic over to Jeff Apodaca.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. And, Peter's been a great asset to the team. When Peter left the campaign, I was looking for a communications director for the campaign, and obviously Peter's a pretty good communicator. So we're very blessed, and Tracy, we all got to know each other on the campaign trail, our wives. And it is fun to campaign, when you become friends with people. So I think you all saw the video tonight. And yes, I grew up here in Santa Fe. I was born in Las Cruces, actually, and my father, everybody thinks my father, most politicians are career politicians, or most politicians are lawyers. My father was actually a high school football coach. And after 5 kids in 7 years, yes, good Latino Catholic family, my dad realized he couldn't support a family on an education salary. Sound familiar? 44 years later. And so he got into the insurance business, and my father and my parents have always talked about giving back, and my dad became a state senator in Las Cruces. Very shortly after that, he ran for governor, and the establishment told him not to run, to wait his turn, kind of like they did to me. And as my father says, if he'd have waited his turn, 44 years later, he'd still be waiting his turn. And if you don't know the history of my dad was the first Latino governor since statehood. He's one of the first Latino governors in the country. And my father opened up doors for women, Latinos, minorities across the country. So our state was structured by my father. And I tell you that is because it was a blessing to grow up as a governor's kid. I see some of my high school friends here, but it was really a kind of a normal child life. I was a jock. I wanted to play football. In fact, my dream was to play for the Dallas Cowboys, even though I don't cheer for the Dallas Cowboys anymore. Yeah. I actually am a Raider fan now, by the way. Working for CBS Sports, you get to know owners, and I just couldn't cheer for the Cowboys after I got to know Jerry Jones. So, but I was just a normal kid that grew up in Santa Fe, went to public high schools. In fact, Harvey Junior High was my junior high. Doesn't exist anymore. In fact, it's right there by Sweeney Convention Center. When I went to school, Sweeney Convention Center was called Mid-High, which every 9th grader in town went to at the time. But my first job, my parents had a rule. If you're not doing activities, if you're not doing sports, you better go get a job. My first job at 12, 13 years of age, I pumped gas at Joe Friday's mobile gas station right here downtown. Yes, there used to be a gas station right downtown, by the way. That was my first job. I was a boys clubber. Hung out at the boys club. Became a volunteer at the boys club. Became a counselor at the boys club. And if you don't know the story, I was a pretty good football player. We won state my senior year at Santa Fe High. My goal was to play pro football, but my goal was to play college football. And halfway through my senior year, I was stricken with cancer. Ninth person in the world to have my type of cancer. We went to MD Anderson. So for 2 years, I went through chemotherapy. But I never gave up on my dream, and I never gave up on what the doctors told me I'd never play sports again. And I proved them all wrong, and I came back and played sports, and I played at the University of New Mexico and finished school there, and graduated in a broadcasting degree and got in the media business. I spent 32 years in the media business, most of it outside the state. I spent time in New York City. I spent time in LA. I was working at CBS Sports. I worked at AOL when that internet thing took off. Univision, the largest Spanish network, recruited me, almost 20 years ago, and I started their new media and their digital division, and built companies and built divisions for them. My wife's from Albuquerque. We moved home 9 years ago to raise these cute little boys named Asher and Gage that happen to be 10 tomorrow. Shit, their birthday's tomorrow. Oh my God. Yes, I know their birthday's tomorrow, by the way. I got a great story about a tattoo that I have because of their birthday. But we moved home to raise our kids, to be next to Grandma and Grandpa, and I took a step down from corporate, and it was time to come home. We always knew we were going to come home to Santa Fe and come home back to New Mexico. We decided to stay in Albuquerque because I travel a lot on business. And at the age of 56, yes, I got married at 40. My kids came later in life. At the age of 56, and the reason I tell you my age is because at the age of 56, I never really thought I would be running for political office or having a political career. If I wanted a political career and follow my father's footsteps, as my opponent says I want, I would have started at 26, not 56. So I'm not running for governor because my father was governor, and I'm definitely not running for governor because it's my turn, because I was literally told to wait my turn. And I'm running for governor because I am tired of us being ranked 50th. I'm tired of us being at the bottom of every bad list, and I'm tired of us sitting on $23 billion and investing it in California, Texas, Oklahoma, Wall Street. Now, I'm not against that. I just think we should invest a little bit. So if you go to our website, and we'll talk about it tonight, but I created a business plan. I created a jobs plan, how we can turn New Mexico around and invest in New Mexico and create 225,000 new jobs. And my opponent in the Santa Fe New Mexican, go Google it, said it's not credible. We can't do that. He can't create 225,000 jobs. He can't invest $1 billion in New Mexico. He can't invest in New Mexico. He can't improve our schools. Then they talk about all their political experience. And I'm literally, if you throw Pierce into it, I'm literally running against 3 people that have spent their entire adulthood in politics. They have over 70 years political experience, and they're literally looking at me saying, he has no political experience. I got one question for you. How's that working for us?
Horrible. It's not working.
It's not working for us. Their way has literally created us 50th in education, 50th in job creation. Their way has literally lost us 146,000 jobs, highest unemployment in the country. Their way has absolutely grown these investment funds to $23 billion. Now, this commercial you saw, we ran over Christmas. And we're blessed to have Sam Donaldson. Actually, the Santa Fe New Mexican ran an oratorial. I can't believe Sam Donaldson, investigative reporter, literally did a voiceover and has endorsed the Apodaca campaign without investigating the campaign. And Sam Donaldson actually wrote a re-editorial saying, actually, I did investigate the campaign, and I did investigate his jobs, and I did my job, and guess what? Apodaca has the best plan to turn New Mexico around. But I tell you that, thank you. But I tell you that because I know we're here not to hear from me. We're here to talk about conversations. But I tell you that because in May, we announced our campaign May 2nd. And we ran commercials for a couple of weeks to announce Jeff. And we've done something differently because I'm a media guy, but we have to get our story out more than just a career politician that everybody knows. So we ran a commercial and we sat on $21.5 billion on May 2nd. $21.5 billion. And 7 months later at Christmas time, we decided to run a new commercial. And I went to our campaign team and I said, hold on for a second. We literally have to change that number because it's literally $23.1 billion. So in a matter of 7 months, our investment funds had grown $1.5 billion. And that's fantastic. At the same time, our political leaders have literally cut programs in schools, education, job training. 25% of our families now live in poverty. 52% of New Mexicans live on some type of government assistance. I'll ask you again. How's their way working for us?
Horrible.
So our plan is to invest into you, and to invest into our children, and to invest into our schools, and to invest into jobs. 95% of our economy is small business. 95%. Now, I'm not against going after big companies. I'm not against going after Facebook, the Googles of the world. I'm not against going after a small tech company in Mississippi and give them $4 million. But guess what? If we gave a New Mexico tech company $4 million to grow their economy and to grow our economy, we'd literally gain 100,000 jobs instead of 53. So our proposal is, and we can do this, we're not going to take money out of our funds. We're not going to raid the funds. We're not going to steal the funds. We're not going to spend the funds. My opponents say that's what we're going to do. And I've literally painted them in a corner because they literally said you can't do that. What we can do constitutionally, what we can do with the State Investment Council is the governor sits on the board. We can lead by investing back into New Mexico. And I'm not crazy. I'm not going to invest $23 billion in New Mexico. I'm just going to invest 5%, $1.4 billion. And when we do that, we'll literally grow 225,000 new jobs in our state. And we'll literally generate almost $1.8 billion of new tax revenue for our state, over $800 million of surpluses. That's more money for our schools. That's more money for our first responders. That's more money for health care. And let me just, before I open up to questions or we start our format tonight, I want you to think about this when you go home tonight. Colorado. We talk about Colorado. Great roads, great economy. 2.1% unemployment, Colorado. 6.2. 93% high school graduation rate. 69. Yes, they have cannabis. It's 5% of their economy, folks. It's not driving their economy. It's 5% of their economy. Their economy is 6 times larger than ours. 20 years ago, their economy was tourism, cattle, oil and gas, agriculture. Sound familiar?
Just New Mexico.
Today, Colorado has one of the biggest explosive economies in the country, in the world actually. 2.1% unemployment. Guess how much they have? They literally sit on $550 million in investment funds. We sit on 23.1 billion. 23.1 billion. Again, how's that working for us? So what Colorado does is they invest into infrastructure, they invest into job training, they invest into schools, they invest into small businesses, they invest into their economy. We actually take our investments, invest it outside our state, grow our investments, and live off the interest. Not against that. We're just going to move 5% of that back into New Mexico and invest into ourselves. And when we do that, literally $2 to $3 billion of private capital will follow and come and blow up and grow our economy. But we have to start our economy first, and we have to start with us first. So that's what our campaign's about. Thank you all for coming.